Okay, good morning once again. Today we're going to continue our discussion on data frames, and then we go to matrices and arrays and have an example also of time series. Okay, so we were looking at this example last time. We are creating an object called ID, and it's just a number from 1 to 200. And then we're also creating another object called group. It's a combination of the word vehicle, repeating vehicle for 100 times, and repeating drug, the word drug for 100 times. So all in all, these are 200 observations that's similar to the ID object. And then for the response, you have here R norm. This will generate a numerical object response, 100 observations with mean 25 and standard deviation 5. And the other one, 100 also with mean 23 and standard deviation 5. So these are three objects, ID, group, response, and we can create a data frame out of this because number one, they have a name, ID. No? Number two, pare-pareho silang 200. Okay, so we can combine all these objects, create a data out of it. In this case, we're going to create my data, and then we're going to coerce it into a data frame. Okay, and give the column name. For ID, we're going to call it patient. For the group, we're going to call it treatment. And then for the response, with the capital R. Okay, and then we expect to have the same values for R norm because we're setting the scene. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so as you can see here, we created a vector group, ID, and response. So this is a character vector, an integer vector, and numeric vector. And also at the same time, we created an object called my data with 200 observations of 3 variables. Okay, let's check. Let's check if, let's take a look at the class of my data. Class my data. You know, this is a data frame. Incidentally, if you get the type of my data, it's a list. Okay, so a data frame is actually an example of a list. But there are, of course, differences. Okay. Any questions so far, class? Kindly, please give me a feedback if you were able to run this, and you have these objects. Under the data, you have my data. Under the values, you have the 3 vectors. Kindly chat, please. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5 pa lang. How about the others? Let's wait for the others to be able to run the data, the code, I mean. Okay. Have you reached at least 50%? A little more, I'll give you a few more seconds. Your feedback is most appreciated, class. I know that others, some of you are not able to. Ayan, okay. So you have more than 50% na tayo. Okay, sige. So let's continue now. Okay, we learned before yung head, diba? Head will give us the default of the first 6 observations. Okay, so let's run this. You can, of course, define this to be 15 or whatever. No? The tail will also give us the The default is if you don't put any number, it will give us the last 6 observations. And then you can, of course, define. Okay, so let's just tanggalin ko na to, no? Yun na lang 15. Okay, so let's run this. 10 lang, 10 na lang. Let's take a look at the first 10 observations. Head ni my data. And you know that it's a data frame, so it consists of columns and rows. Ito yung rows natin. They have individual names. Not one is repeated. Index lang siya, 1 up to 200. Tapos si patient, okay, si treatment, 100 yung vehicle, 100 din yung drugs, and then response, we should have the same values here because we set it to a particular seed. And then let's take a look at the tail, 10 na lang din. And okay, for the tail, so this one, 23.58, 29.77. Okay, so we should have the same values. Both for we should have the same values even if we look at the head or the tail. So could you kindly confirm please if we have the same values? So, tingnan ko na lang dito para makita natin my view, my data. Okay, to give us the it's like a spreadsheet in a new tab here. Okay, may I have your confirmation, please, if you have the same values? Okay, waiting for the others. How about the others, please? Different values. Oh. Anika, bakit? Nag-set that seed ka ba? Dapat mag-set that seed, ha? Ito, 2, 3, 4, set that seed. Anika, could you kindly confirm? Pag magkaiba yung number natin, then set that seed. Or if you did put set that seed, we will have different answers. So, si Migs pareho. How about the others, class? Dalawa lang yung sumagot. Same. Okay, thank you. Okay na. Okay, thank you, Anika. What happened, Anika? Nag-set that seed ka ba? Okay. All right. So, I hope everybody got the same answer. Okay. Pag length class, ang ibibigay sa atin ito? Pag length ng isang data frame will give us the number of variables, the number of columns. The dimension niya is the number of rows per column. 200 rows by 3 columns. And then the structure, okay, what will the structure? Okay, it will give us information about our data. So this is the structure of my data. First, it will define kung anong klaseng object to, data.frame. Okay? So we already defined what a data frame is before. There are 200 observations of 3 variables. This is the dimension. And then it will define to us the different variables. $patient, okay, means that if we're going to access the patient variable, it has to be coursed through my data. It's an integer, and then treatment, and then response. Okay, so tayo. Okay, that's what we get from the structure. Okay, so the structure will tell us information, which gives us metadata. Metadata is data about your data. So katulad ng sinabi ko, define for us what type of object it is, the dimension, and then the variables that fall under it. Okay, and then summary my data will give us yung, it depends if it's a numerical variable, then it will give us the 5-number summary plus the average. Of course, in patient, it's just a patient number, so this has no meaning at all. So, hindi naman natin kailangan kunin yung average ng patient ID. Okay, ito, yung treatment, which is a character variable, okay, wala siyang ibibigay sa atin. Just the, hindi naman pwedeng di ba? Kunin yung minimum, maximum, or first quartile, second quartile, isang character variable. So it will give us the, okay, just the count, ilan siya, and the type. All right, then also the response, since this is numerical, so we can now have here the minimum, the maximum, the median, and the mean. So you can see here that the mean is towards the left of the median, which tells us that although R norm yan, di ba? We generated it using R norm. Medyo hindi siya talagang medyo hindi talaga siyang talagang normally distributed. Okay? And besides, di ba yung response na yan, dalawang set yan eh. Yung isa, ang mean 25. Yung isa naman, ang mean 23. That's why what's happening here is that hindi siya homogeneous na data. Di ba? Kaya yung isang mean lang ginawa sa kanya, 23.8. When in fact, dalawang sets ng data yan. Okay, I hope I'm making sense. Di ba ito? Here, R norm, yung isa 25, yung 100, tapos isa naman 23. Okay? So, pinagsama natin sa isang object ng response. So, nung kinuha yung average niya, yung mean niya, it was 23.8. No? So, medyo gitna ng 25 at saka 23. And if you notice, it's towards the left of 24.65. So which means that this is more skewed to the left, no? Okay? Kasi yung mean medyo to the left of the median. Okay. All right, now we'll take a look at subsetting. Okay, ito yung last last topic natin sa may konting dates, no? Sa data frames. Okay. So when you see here my data, this is our object my data, and then when you see brackets here, 1 and 2. Okay, this means that you are subsetting from the my data object the first row and the second column. Okay, so if you take a look at this, ito yung my data natin. Ito yung first row natin, and then ito yung second column. Therefore, the answer is vehicle. If we're going to subset that, okay, this one is going to be, ang answer dito will be vehicle. Let me copy this. Control C, dito ko na lang. Okay, so vehicle siya. It's the intersection of the first row and the second column. Ganon din dito, okay? And then ito naman, so this is rows 1 to 20, and then columns 2 to 3. Okay, so what will this return? Okay, so rows 1 to 20. So first 20 observations, and then columns 2 and 3. 2 and 3. So the columns, ano ba yung columns natin? Ang una, di ba, IT. Ano siya? So, first column is patient pala. Second is treatment. Third is response. So treatment and response, yung second and third columns. Okay? All right. Okay, tapos ito, plus my data 1 up to 20, and then if there's an empty number here for the columns, it means that it's everything, all the columns. So pag rinan natin yan, run natin na. So you can see here that it generates this one. 1 up to 20 rows, and then you have all the 3 columns: patient, treatment, and response. Okay, so pause for a while. Any questions so far? Clear ba so far? Paki-chat naman please kung may questions or not, none so far or clear so far. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you so much, class, for the feedback. Huwag kayong magsasawa kasi kailangan talaga yung feedback niyan. Para alam ko kung maliwanag yung explanation ko or I need to explain or elaborate further. Okay, thank you. Okay, so pag subsetting, class, remember you have brackets and then rows by columns. Okay. Of course, you can create an object out of that. Okay, so similar subsets. My data, all the rows in the third column is just the same as my data, all the rows in the third column, which is response, or my data $response. All of this will give the same subsets. Okay, so kasi yung third column natin, response yan. So we can either use number 3, it's the first, example natin, or we can define the variable itself, response. Or we can use my data, diba? You know this, my data, then $. If you press $, if you type $, then lalabas dito yung mga columns that are included or that are included in your data frame. Okay, so response. So all of this will give us a subset of all the observations when 200 siya and the third column only. Diba? Okay. All right. Let's try to look at other subsetting. Okay. How about this? My data, and then you have here my data, and then all. Okay. Without running it, what do you think this will give us? Don't run it first. What do you think this will give us? Anyone? Okay, let's see. Rows 27 onwards. Okay. Rows 27 onwards. Rows 27 onwards. Okay. You go back at 27 onwards. You may unmute yourself, please. Mas mabilis siya. Is it okay for you to unmute yourself? Row 27, so this one.
Sure, kasi I thought na it says na greater than 26.
Okay. So
I just figured baka ganun.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your answer. Pero tingnan natin kasi ang sinasabi dito, anong dinidefine niya? Response, yung response, di ba? Ang response daw, ano daw dapat? Class? What should the response be? Okay, remember, this is for the row, no? This defines ano yung papasok sa row. Ito naman yung dinidefine yung ano yung papasok sa yung mga columns. So dito lahat ng columns, yung patient, yung treatment, at saka yung response. Lahat papasok. Pero sa rows, ano yung papasok lang? Sabi dito, my data, in particular, yung response is greater than 26. So if you take a look at this, tingnan natin yung response. Ito ba, will this be included? Answer, class? Answer, please. will the first observation be included? Answer is yes. Bakit, Anika? Why is it yes, Anika?
Sir, because the response is greater than 26.
26 ba? 27? 26 tama. 26 tama. So the response is greater than 26. Okay, so this will be part of the subset. Ito, yung pangalawa, 14.76. Thank you, Anika. The second one, okay? The second one, class. Kasama ba to? Kasama ba tong 14.73? Of course not, because this is not greater than 26. So lahat ng response na greater than 26 will form part of the subset. Okay? So let's go back here. I'm going to create an object here. Let's call it A1 na lang. Okay. So I'm creating this object called A1, and it's a subset of my data where the response, yung mga masasama lang as far as the rows are concerned, is those where the response is greater than 26, and it will include all the columns kasi blanco to. So let's okay, so I now have A1, and noticeably it's only now 69 observations. If I open this, okay, tingnan nyo, lahat ng response are all greater than 26. You cannot find any observation there, okay, which is less than 26. Okay, so let me pause for a while and then once again ask questions. Paki-check nga class kung if you were able to follow along. Okay, thank you. Good. Waiting for the others. As I said, class, I'll appreciate any feedback from you. Okay, a few more seconds. Marami pa hindi sumasagot. Okay, thank you. Thank you, class. All right, so how about this? Ito. So we're subsetting again my data. And then here, the treatment is equal to, so here is one instance class na yung equal to dapat doble. No? Okay, mag-error tayo kung isang equal to lang yun. Pag subsetting, okay, treatment daw is vehicle lang and my data dollar response is less than 23. Okay, so this is ito yung gagamitin natin na basis for the rows. Ito yung basis for the row and for the column lahat. Yeah, oh, sorry Wesley sabi ni Wesley, mabagal yung internet sa campus. Very sorry. I'm very sorry that I'm not there to be with you face to face. No? So kasalanan ko yun. I own that. No? So if you're not able to answer quickly because of internet connections, that's understood. Yung nakakasagot, I think they're answering and I'm very appreciative of that. Okay, so ito, class, gawa natin isang object pa to para makita natin, A2. So we're creating this object A2, and it's a subset of my data. Then take note brackets, no? Brackets. So my data, treatment is equal to vehicle, and yung response daw less than 23. That will determine kung sino papasok sa rows, tapos sa columns, lahat ng columns. Okay, walang distinction sa columns kasi blank to. Okay, so let's run this, Control Enter, and then I'd like to print that. So there are 33 observations lang. Okay. So if you can see here, all of these are vehicle. Sabi kasi dito sa treatment, dapat vehicle. So walang treatment na drug dito. So lahat dito vehicle. And lahat ng response is less than 23. You cannot find any response here that's greater than 23. Okay? All right. Once again, class, your feedback is appreciated about that specific code. So, yung treatment, dapat yung vehicle lang, yung response, dapat less than 23. So, kindly chat please if you were able to generate that object E2. Yeah, and since many of you are in the campus, and I know that the internet connection is quite spotty, so medyo hindi ko masyadong bibilisan class kasi yung iba medyo naghahabol. But if you have questions, please feel free to chat them. Okay, thank you. All right, salamat ha. Salamat. Okay, so we can continue on. So I will skip this kasi pareho lang naman yan. Ano? Ito lang naman yung response is 24. Okay, so let's just use this. Ito, A3. Itong pangatlo naman. So what's different about this? My data treatment, take note. Exclamation point is equal to. This means not. Yung exclamation point and then equal to means not, NOT. So hindi daw yung vehicle. So ibig sabihin, yung drug lang. Kasi dadalawa lang naman yung treatment natin. Either vehicle or drug. So what will enter now into the rows will only be those with treatment that are that's equal to drug. And then the response is greater than 24. So let's print this again. Run this. And there are 162 observations. Oops, sandali. Ano nangyari dun? Okay. Yeah, I forgot to discuss something. Now, ito, okay. Okay, ito, hindi ko na-discuss kasi in-skip natin to. What does this mean? Itong slash na to. What does this mean? This means or. Okay? Or yan. Ibig sabihin, okay? Ibig sabihin, dapat hindi vehicle or response greater than 24. So, ibig sabihin yan, for as long as in terms of response, okay, sabi ito greater than 24, in terms of treatment, vehicle. For as long as any of these two conditions are met, okay lang. So, kunyari, yung response natin 25. Pero vehicle siya. Pwede yun. Kasi dito not vehicle. Pero kung ang response time is 25, it doesn't matter kung nababiolate itong unang condition ito. It's because of this. Okay. So siguro nga puntahan muna natin to. No? I'm sorry, very sorry. So let's run this. Na-skip ko siya kasi. Okay. So ito A4 na yan. So let's run A3 first. Yan, A3, and then let me print A3. Okay. So, ang function kasi natin, vehicle daw, and response greater than or equal to 21. So, is it possible to see in the treatment? Pwede ba makakita ako ng drug? Answer is yes. Bakit? For as long as response is greater than 21, it doesn't matter kung vehicle siya o drug. Okay? How about this? Equal to vehicle. It doesn't matter if the response is less than 21. It doesn't matter. For as long as vehicle siya, papasok yun sa subset natin. Okay, so tingnan natin yung subset natin. So vehicle at saka greater than 21. Diba? All right. Let's take a look at this. Ito. Sabi, yung response daw greater than 21. Hindi naman greater than 21 to, di ba? This is 14.7. Bakit siya pumasok? Kasi vehicle siya. No? So for as long as one condition is met, then the other condition is, even if it's not met, it's okay. How about this one? O, di ba may mga drugs dito, di ba? Drug. Okay. For as long as greater than 21. Okay, kahit na hindi siya vehicle. All right? So that's what we mean by this one. Itong bar na to, slash na to. It means or. It means or. Ito naman kanina, and it means that both conditions have to be met. So that's the difference. Yung and, it means both conditions have to be met. Dapat vehicle lang, sa dapat less than 23. Ito naman or. Ganun din dito. Or din. Alright? So, this one, ibig sabihin, not vehicle. Not vehicle is the same as equal to drug. Or, response is greater than 24. So, kahit na drug, kahit na vehicle ang lumabas, okay lang for as long as greater than 24 yung response. Okay, or kahit na less than 24, for as long as drug dito, then we're okay. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. A4. Okay, so there are 162 observations. So sabi, di ba, not vehicle, but may vehicle dito. Pumasok siya kasi, because sabi greater than 24 dapat yung response. It didn't matter kung for this one. Okay, it didn't matter kung drug siya or vehicle siya. Kasi di ba ang sabi natin not vehicle. So okay lang kahit hindi kahit vehicle for as long as greater than 24 yung response. Okay, let me pause for a while. So, and open the floor for clarifications, for questions. Questions ba? Feedback, class, kung clear so far. Ito yung difference ng and at saka ng or. Pag and, both conditions have to be met. Pag or, any one of those conditions have to be met. Feedback, please, class. Let's wait for the other to. Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Well appreciated, class, and comments. No? Okay. So, okay. So here this is a different one actually. This is just another example of, okay, here we're creating this object, age, and then our norm, 200 siya, average is equal to 40, standard deviation is equal to 20. No? And then, take note of this. My data, $age. Ibig sabihin nun, we are now introducing another column, whose name is age. And this comes from the age object, which we created here. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, and now we can see that my data, okay, includes now another column, another variable called age. In fact, if we Click my data here, my age na siya. Okay, ang pangit lang dito is that yung R norm kasi, di ba, ang R norm, okay, yung age dito, mag-set that seed pala tayo dito. No? Set that seed, 5, 6, 7, 8, so that we have the same ages. Okay. Okay. Ito yung problema sa R norm. No? May negative. May possibly may mga negative values. Okay, kahit ang mean 40. Okay, so how do you address that? If you want to generate series of random numbers na walang negative, paano yun? What's the best way to do that? Anyone, please? Actually, naano natin yan, na-discuss na natin. What do you think, class? Kasi dito naglalagay tayo ng column na age dun sa ano sa my data natin. And of course, age cannot be negative. So what would have been the appropriate function for that? Anyone? Okay, let's see. My answer dito. Greater than 0. Paano yan, Anika? Paano greater than 0? Can you command R to generate random numbers that are greater than 0? But the question is also for everyone, huh? Not only Anika. Paano yun? How do we generate random numbers? Huh? Sure tayo na walang negative number. Ito kasi age eh. So alangan namang age and negative. What do you think, class? Integer? Paano yung Ray? Paano yung integer? Ano yung function nun? Random numbers, ha? Oo, tama. Walang decimals. No? Yung walang decimals, maaano natin yan with the round function. Kasi gagawin natin round 0. Walang decimals yun. Pero, yung pag-generate ng random numbers, gawa na natin dati yan. I-recall nyo. Ano yung pwede natin gamitin? Anyone? Suggestion ba, class? And also, di ba yung generate natin dito? Dito. Don't remember. Okay. Palitan natin to, class. Anong ipapalit nyo dyan? Para sure na walang negative number. Kasi yung R norm, hindi tayo magiging sure dyan na walang negative. Or unless, pwede yung i-absolute yung age. No? Kasi tingnan nyo di ba si age, may negative yan, di ba? Age, vector 2 Okay. Print ko si age. May mga negative siya, di ba? Yun. Negative 9, negative 3. May mga negative siya. Pag normally distributed, pwede siyang magka-negative. But what if I get the abs? Ano nangyari dito? Di ba naging absolute value, naging positive na siya. Okay, so pwede yun. Yung age natin, negative 9 at 3, naging positive na kasi nag-absolute value tayo. Okay, so pwede yan. Or to be sure na wala talaga negative number, okay, anong iba pang pwedeng gawin natin? May pwede pa, di ba? Let me see. Control C, Control V. Gawa tayo ng age 1. Instead of R norm, diba nag-run if tayo dati, di ba? Ano yung laman ng run if class? So ilan yung observations? 200. Tapos yung minimum is equal to, sabihin natin minimum age 20. Tapos maximum age is equal to sabihin natin 50. Example lang naman po. Okay. Run if open close. 1, 2. And then round 0 decimal place. And then age. Okay. Check natin to class. Age 1. Okay, yan. Diba? Yung run if class, yung uniform distribution. Okay, where you identify the minimum and the maximum. Siyempre, pag nag-minimum ka dyan ng 20 and the maximum ka na 50, definitely hindi ka na magkakaroon ng negative number dyan. Okay? So, we can replace this. My data age is age 1. Okay? Pinalitan ko. So, therefore, ito na si my data natin. All right. Okay, why did I put, thank you LJ for that question. Why did I put 0? Okay, yung 0 natin dito, good question, no? Okay, tingnan natin yung syntax itong round. Okay. Ito class rounding numbers. So dito, round of numbers and then digits is equal to 0. Okay? Yung 0 dyan, ibig sabihin, walang decimal place. Or since naka ano siya, we could have also ignored this. Ang default niya, 0 decimal places. Pag nag-round tayo, tapos hindi tayo naglagay ng number of digits, then mag-1 decimal, 0 decimal place. For purposes of illustration, okay, so this is what I did, no? Pwede ring ang ginawa natin, in-ignore ko na to. No? Kasi ang default naman, 0 eh. What if I replace this by 1? Tingnan natin. Lahat yan, 1 decimal place na. Okay, so the number here will tell us kung ilang decimal place yun. Okay? So, if I don't put anything there, 1, 2, 3, I don't put anything class, what will that give us? Okay, default niya, 0 decimal place. Okay? So kanina, kinompleto ko lang, ginawa kong 0 to indicate that this is 0 decimal place, yung pag-round natin. But as we saw here, so syntax ni R, ito, round, you have what number you're rounding, and then digits is equal to 0. Naka-0 to, naka-colored, ibig sabihin default to. So if I don't put anything here, okay, in this syntax, then automatically R will consider that as no decimal place. Okay. All right, LJ, did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions, class? Please keep them coming. I really appreciate your questions. Kayo, class, what do you prefer? Kunyari, age ang nagra-randomize tayo ng age. Kanina, our first option was use the run R norm. Tapos pangalawa, yung run if. Sa tingin nyo, sino mas tama? And why? Pakichat nga please. Sa tingin nyo, what's your opinion if you're looking at age, no, in particular? And what do you think is a better way? Yung R norm ba o yung run if? Comments please. What do you think? Kunyari, gumagawa kayo ng data, tapos randomize lang yung age. So, ano gagamitin nyo? Yung R norm o yung run if? Anyone? You may unmute yourself. Just raise your hand, please. Any suggestion, class? Hello? Oh, yes. You see? Run if is Wesley. Wesley, kindly share your answer to the class. Okay. Run if. No? Not sure, but I think run if. Okay. All right. Positive numbers. Thank you. Thank you, Wesley. Thank you, Celine. You're correct. No, you're both correct. And sabi ni Wesley, maganda siya kasi mas masiset natin yung minimum and maximum age. Diba? If you were using R norm, pwede kasi magka-zero yan. Pwede magka-negative. Although pwede natin gawing absolute. But if you're taking a look, depende sa data natin na gusto yung gawin. If you're looking at data that's, let's say, college students, no? Definitely kung nag-generate lang kayo ng random numbers, run if talaga mas maganda dyan kasi makokontrol nyo yung ages, di ba? Minimum, 16, maximum 20, 21, etc. Di ba? Unlike yung R norm, di ba? Kung specific na college students, so hindi uubra na may zero doon, right? So it depends on the purpose. If you want to be, if your variable does not have any control at all whatsoever, then R norm will be best. If the variable has certain constraints with it, like ito, age. Diba? Tapos age of a particular group pa kunyari. Then R norm, of course, would be better fit. Okay. So, lastly, before we go to the matrix, although na-discuss natin to briefly, no? Yung date object. So here we're creating this object X and it consists of course, you know that this is a character variable kasi yung quotes. No? If you run this, definitely character siya because of the presence of quotes. All right. Now, R treats the vector as characters, but we want to force R to convert this into a date date object. So we can use lubridate. Lubridate is a powerful package that deals with dates. No? So tingnan natin. I'm not sure if you have installed lubridate, but if not, class, kindly install it sa packages. You can do that. Packages and install lubridate, or just directly run this one, and then library. Tapos, question mark natin, lubricate. Okay. Tagal mag-ano ng ano. Right. Oftentimes, class, kapag package ang gusto nating ma-access, double question mark yun. Right here. No documentation for lubricate. Okay, hindi pa siya nag-run. Nag-run pa siya. Okay, kindly install lubricate, please. All right, may note ako dito, no? The easiest way to get lubricate is to install the whole tidyverse package. Okay, so tidyverse is a package that contains several other packages. So you can either install, tingnan nyo magla-library ako dito, library. So if you haven't installed tidyverse, install nyo na siya. And then if you get the library tidyverse, oops, maling spelling ko, library tidyverse. All right. So take a look at what's included in tidyverse. Attaching core tidyverse packages and lubricate is included. Andiyan si dplyr, forecatch, ggplot2, readr, stringr, table, tidyr, etc. So this one tells us that si dplyr may function siya na filter. Tapos si stats may function din siya na filter. So ang mag-aano nito, ang mag-prevail dito si dplyr, yung filter ni dplyr. Okay, kasi pareho siyang, remember that stats package is preloaded with R. So pag ginamit mo yung filter na function, which is found in dplyr and also in stats package, di ba may conflict yun? Ano dun? Is it the filter coming from stats package or is it dplyr? Okay, so pag may conflict na ganyan, the best way to address that is to use the namespace. Kunyari filter, lagyan mo dplyr and then double quotations filter para malaman ni R na you're making use of the dplyr package. Anyway, so pag linode natin si tidyverse, automatically loaded na si lubricate. Okay, and close ko muna ito. Yes, okay, my question. Yes, Migs.
Hello sir, question lang po. Dun sa library tidyverse, kapag ini-input po sa console sir, may lumalabas, di po siya nag-run eh. Ito po yung lumalabas sir.
Oh, sige, sige. Okay, ano nag-run? Okay, pag ganyan, thank you Migs, no? Thank you for that question. Very good question. Ang sabi ni Migs dito, error in library tidyverse. There's no package called tidyverse, which means you haven't installed tidyverse. So pag ganyan, dapat install that packages ka muna, no? So try mo Migs, install that packages tidyverse, saka mo siya i-library. Pa-feedback Ganon din kay Mika, no? Kung tidyverse mo nag-error, then install niyo muna. Install that packages muna. You have to remember, class, hindi natin ma-require o mala-library ang isang package kung hindi pa siya naka-install sa RNA. And you can only install it once. Install that packages, tidyverse. But I'm not going to run this kasi installed ko na siya. But this is the function. So itayin natin si Migs lang kung ano nangyari. Pati si Mika.
Ay, okay na po sir, downloading na po. Thank you.
Okay na. Okay, good. How about you, Mika?
It's downloading na din po, sir.
Okay, sige. So once na-download yan, pag chinek nyo sa packages nyo, it will now appear. Nasa packages nyo yan. So you can click that one, di ba yung box na beside the package, click it, which is equivalent to library or required. So maloload na siya. You can now make use of the functionalities. Okay? So, punta ako dito sa packages. And then let me go to Lubridate. Okay, Lubridate, click ko to, class. Click ko yan. Ayan. You can see here the different functions. Very useful yung help function ni R. No? Ayan. So you can see here several functions, okay, that come with Lubridate. Kunyari itong DMY, date, month, year, etc. So let's take a look, for example, at DMY or MDY, then month, date, year, or YMD, year, month, date. Depends on what you want. DMY, if I click this, then it will give us some instructions on how to do it. And then, tingnan nyo to. Ayan. Okay, may example tayo dito. Okay, so why don't we copy this? No? Why don't we copy this? Control C. Copy natin dito sa console. Kaya gusto nyo dito sa pwede rin tayo mag-create dito ng ng code chunk. So, create tayo ng code chunk dito. Okay. So, ito yung nasa example ni R. No? So, we have this. Okay. We have this object X. Lagyan natin sa ano ulit. And then class of X. So let's run this, which we ran a while ago. X is yung dates na to. No? Control Enter. So this is character siya, no? Ito. So this is X. It's a character vector. Ito. Now what happens when this one? YMDX, then let's take a look at the class of X. Okay. So what happened here? Did something happen, class? Ano yung YMD, class? What does the YMD function give us? Ito. Ano binibigay sa atin ng YMD? YMD. Ayan, no? Parse dates with year, month, and day components. Transforms dates stored in character and numeric vectors to date or POSIX CT objects. This function recognizes arbitrary non-digit separators. So, YMD. Ito example coming from Lubridate kasi this is from the Lubridate package. Yan. YMD. So, ito yung syntax niya. May MDY, may MYD, may DMY, etc. No? May YQ pa nga, YM, MY. So several formats that we can use with dates from the Lubridate package. Okay, so itong example na to, class. No? So you either copy this sa console or to your code siya. Or you can run this. Ang kagandahan dito kay R, pwede natin i-run yan. Ay, nag-internal server error ako. Sorry. Okay, so na tayo. YMD. Okay. Ah, nag-error na ako, class. Okay. Sorry about that. Class, skip ko na muna yan kasi nag-error na ako. Okay, how about you, class? Nag-run ba sa inyo? Did it run in your case? Okay, nag-error ako dito sa example ni lubricate. I'll just i-run ko lang tong yung the rest yung nabigay sa natin sa notes. Okay? So anong mali dito sa natin kanina? Character pa rin siya, no? Dito. 090101, okay? Class X character yan. And then what we did was YMD ni X. Okay. When you do YMD ni X, what happens? Then i-print natin si X. Yung pa rin siya, no? Character pa rin siya. Okay, so what do we do, class? Any suggestion? Bakit yung YMD did not work here? Isn't it supposed to parse yung YMD natin? Yung year, month, date na yan? Ito yung year. And then month, and then date. Feedback, please. What happened in your case? Nag-run ba si lubricate? Ayaw na mag-run ni YMD. Nag-internal error na siya. Ayan. Kaya nag-internal error na siya. Waiting ko, ha? I think I will have to close this first bago ako mag-ano. Anyway, class, I want to be starting with the matrix ito na lang, nag-error sa akin yung YMD ko eh. Okay, so ano ba yung date natin dito? So di ba may X date tayo dito, di ba? Let me run this again. Let me copy this. Control C. Yung unang X natin. Let me run it here. Okay, so ito yung andyan yung X natin. This is our X. Character variable. Okay. Ewan ko kung mag-run to class, nag-internal error ako. Ayan o. So I'm having problems. I think I have to shut down my R first. Okay, so I'm not sure class kung mag-run to Kasi here I'm creating an object called birthday, and then it's supposed to be the day, the month, the year. Day is 14, month is 10, year is 1979. Okay, let's see if this will run. Okay, so nag-run sa akin. Yan, tinan nyo class. No? Okay, take a look at this. Birthday. Birthday here is under what siya? Birthday is an object. No? Okay, it's a vector. UTC, what's UTC? Universal Time Convention. UTC siya. Ibig sabihin, class, this is a date object. UTC. Otherwise, magka-character yan. So if I get the class of B-Day, ano yung class ni B-Day? You can see that it's a date function. It's a date object. Okay, and then here I can get the month of B-Day, and we know that it's October. Yeah, 10. No? We can get the weekday of B-Day, and then label is equal to true. There. So notice ito, anong araw yung October 14 na yan? Okay, it's a Sunday. So weekday ng birthday natin, ng birthday na yan is a Sunday. Okay? And then dito, hinanap yung year. Ito, year daw ng birthday, gagawin 2016. No? Kasi dito 2014 eh. Let's just modify this a bit. Therefore, if I now print B-Day, 2016 na siya. Kasi pinalitan natin yung year. And then the weekday is, this time, it's a Friday. Kanina kasi Sunday. Alright. So ito, pwede rin ganito yung format, no? YMD, 2010, 12, 15. Okay, and then let's call this B1. So B1 is YMD 2010, 12, 15. And then let's get the class of B1. Oops. Okay. Diba? No? Dapat pinaprint natin si B1. B1. So B1 is 2010, 12, 15. It's a date function. Okay? All right. So yung now function, okay, to give us the date today and the hours, specific hours, and then the UTC to, no, plus 08, ibig sabihin yung Manila is plus 08 UTC, which yung old name ng UTC, I don't know if you know what's the old name of UTC. Any one of you know UTC? Old name nito is, and I don't know if you got this in your geography, social studies. Anyone, class? UTC used to be called GMT, di ba? Greenwich Meridian Time. So ang Greenwich Meridian Time is based on zero latitude. So ang andyan dyan si London. So ang Philippines is 8 plus 8 tayo. Ibig sabihin we're 8 hours ahead of London time. GMT ang tawag dati. Ngayon it's UTC. Okay, so we end our discussion on that, class. We have a few more minutes. At least masimulan natin itong matrices and arrays. Okay, kindly open matrices and arrays. And I will leave you guys to watch the video na pinost ko na dati, because this video discusses yung matrices and arrays. Okay. Interesting. So, LJ, ano nga yung ano mo, yung question mark? Yung question mo?
Sir, when I entered now, parenthesis, what the result you got is the date today, the time, plus the 08.
Oh, pero CST, no?
It's not plus 08, it's CST.
Oh, tama yung plus 08 kasi Manila time yan. Eh. Pero yung CST, that's central, nasa ano yan, nasa settings, no? pwede i-reset yan. Yung, kasi CST, sandali natin. I know CST is Central Standard Time. CST time. Okay, so siguraduhin lang natin. Ayan, CST. Central Standard Time yan. So this is sa US. And ang standard, kasi sa kanila Pacific, okay, CST, Texas. Hindi, pwedeng i-ano lang LJ, ano lang natin, kindly research kung paano babaguhin yung standard time mo. No? Kasi, did you buy that unit sa US or saan? Dito ba? O yung laptop mo? LJ?
Sa US, sir.
Sa US, yun. So, yun, naka-CST siya, ibig sabihin sa US na bili. So, naka-default siya sa ganon, sa CST. So, you can change that. Madali naman baguhin yan. Hindi ko lang kabisado yung code. But do research. Ano mo na lang, change the setting ng in R, no? Sa R ng laptop mo. You can do that easily. Okay? I'll leave that as an exercise for you, tapos i-share mo rin, no? So, si Miguel naman, PST naman siya, Pacific Standard Time. Migs, sa US mo rin nabili yan, yung laptop mo? Migs. O yan. So, tama nga yung hula ko. No? Kasi pag dito mo binili, dito nakabili yan, naka-default na yan sa UTC, no? Universal Time Convention. So pag binibili sa States, either most probably, Migs, California side ba nabili yan? Yung yung laptop? Yeah, okay. Kay LJ naman, kasi ang CST Central kasama yung Texas dyan. I'm not sure, LJ, kung saan ba nabili yung laptop mo. Pero US definitely. Tama ba?
Yes, sir. But one question po. Are we
Sure.
going to have an activity where the CST or PST or the +8 matters?
No. It doesn't matter. So wala tayong maging activity na magmamatter kung CST siya o PST. Ang ano lang yan, if you want to put it to Philippine time, yung settings, i-convert mo siya into UTC. Otherwise, if you keep on, for example, if you travel to US, tapos madalas mong dala yung laptop mo, then don't bother replacing it. Kasi hindi naman talaga siya relevant. Hindi siya talaga importante. Okay? Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Okay na
much.
po, sir. Thank you.
Sige, okay. Thank you. All right. So, we have a few more minutes. At least ma-introduce ko class tong matrices. No? So, what's a matrix? I hope you I hope you already loaded the file that I shared with you dun sa our project natin. Okay. So, matrices. Okay. Matrices are numbers, combination of numbers in row and in array format. Okay, ang first example natin dito, okay, so siguro, tingnan muna natin class, mag-question mark tayo matrix, kasi maganda example, maganda yung explanation ni R sa matrix. Okay, let's, error ako, no? Kailangan ko yan. Okay, I'm sorry class, I can't show it kasi internal server error ako. Okay, but please look at this kasi may default yan eh. Sayang, dapat yan ako dito. Maganda, very instructive kasi yung example ni R dun sa matrix. It's very helpful. Okay, pwedeng class, can somebody do that? Paki-ano yung matrix. Yan. So, cannot open the connection. Hindi ako, nagkakaproblema ako. Nag-internal server error ako. And can somebody please put in the chat box yung syntax ng matrix, please? Para i-discuss natin quickly yon. Pakiran nga yung help matrix and then yung syntax niya paki-chat. Okay, it's already almost time. So, wala ba? Okay, so take a look at this, class. B is matrix. Matrix C, and it's a combination of 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 1. If you print this, tingnan nyo. Okay, wala pa rin nag-question mark dun sa matrix. Explain ko sana eh. Hello, class. Yung syntax ng matrix. Yung function, matrix, tapos yung number, tapos yung syntax sana sa help. Hindi is that matrix as that matrix. A matrix creates a matrix from the given set of values. Pero yung syntax, please. Yung syntax niya. Wala, class? Wala. 20 kayo dito. Wala bang question mark matrix? Tapos hanap niyo yung syntax ng matrix. I'm waiting, class. Anyway, sige, walang nag-ano eh. I don't know why you're not able to find it. Okay, so ito, class, take note 3, the number of rows, kaya 3 rows to, 2, the number of columns. Okay? And then you can find here, class, that ang default niya, unless sasabihin natin walang kumukuha eh. Ano ba yan? Ayaw. Okay, thank you. Yan. Ayan, class, ito na. No? Thank you, Migs. Okay, so ito yung syntax, class. Matrix, data, and row, and column. Okay? So, ito yung data natin. Ito yung numbers na gagawin matrix. And then, n row, ito yung number of rows. 3 rows. So, ang complete niya, pwede nyo ilagay n row. Okay? N row is equal to 3 and then n column. So, ito yung complete code niyan. Or pwede ring tanggalin. Tapos, dito, by row is equal to, lalo ko talaga itong by row is equal to, let me just show you this. Time na, class, sorry. You may leave if you, ano ko lang itong last na to. Okay, so this is matrix. Okay, so in-identify natin yung numbers, ilang rows, ilang columns, and then dito, wala na ako linagay dito, no? Hindi ko linagay by row or by column. Pag wala ako linagay, ibig sabihin nun, ang default yan by column. So if I run this, ito yung lumabas. So ano ibig sabihin ng by column? The numbers were arranged by column. Pababa, 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 1. Ito yung by column. No? If I do this B1, okay, tingnan nyo. By row siya. Linagay ko kasi by row. Kaya 1, 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 1. Alright? You can see the difference, no? The default is by row is equal to false. Ibig sabihin, pababa yung pag-ano niya ng column. Okay? So if I make this C, okay, or if I make this A na lang, A siya. And then here, you can add matrices. Okay? You can subtract matrices. All right, so it's already time. I'm sorry for the extension. Okay, you kindly go through this, and let's see if I will still need to look at this or start with linear model already next meeting. Sige. Thank you so much. Sorry for the extension.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.